Hello everyone, welcome back to Archangel RC. Luckily and happily, today's video features no carnage, unlike the previous Tornado V2 one, where I showed you exactly how an ESC failed during takeoff, which led to this spectacular crash. You've all seen it by now, as it apparently was very popular both as a regular video and as a short. In fact, this crash is my most watched short so far. But anyway, there would be none of that today, so in case you were hopeful, don't be. Gotcha, didn't I? You fell for the old clickbait trick and for your preconceived notion that 3D planes are crap. Well, contrary to what many people alluded to after I published the above-mentioned short, that 3D planes can't fly, turns out they were talking crap out of their feces evacuation hose. Not only was I able to repair the damage from the crash, which wasn't extensive thanks to using regular PETG, and none of that aero foaming low weight stuff, but the plane took off and flew brilliantly for the next 3 flights with no issues, even carrying the new 6S2P lithium-ion battery I built for it during the last flight. The issue before, as I already stated, was with the ESCs and their stuttering when throttle is applied too suddenly or is too high, apparently. I guess I would need to somehow get into the settings and play around with timing or something to sort this out, but dealing with BL Heli has always been a major pain for me, so definitely did not have the motivation to do so before these flights. What I did figure out at the flying field though is that even applying 80% throttle gracefully causes both ESCs to start stuttering, as you will now hear. So my solution was to limit max throttle for stabilized and auto modes further down to 70%, which resulted in no stuttering at all. This is interesting because on my test stand I was slowly able to load up the motor all the way up to 100% to measure its max amp draw and thrust, and it didn't stutter there, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. 70% still felt like it had a heck of a lot of thrust, and I was good with that. Since this plane is still in testing, I did not have any video gear on it because I did not want to risk damaging it, as I didn't know how these flights are going to go, so basically I had no way of knowing what the battery voltage was or how the battery was performing. But examining the logs after the flight, I noticed this annoying weird thing. Plotting the voltage gives a predictable decline over the course of the flight. The movement is not at all shocking. Voltage rarely stays stable, especially if there's any current flowing, and especially if the source is a battery. But look what happens when I also plot the current graph. It is all over the place. This is crazy, and you would think there might be an issue with the throttle commands, but plotting the throttle output from the autopilot reveals nothing that could explain this current behavior. What could explain it though is a faulty current sensor on the Mavic F765 wing controller, or some issue with the settings, but this right here is anything but a normal behavior. It is not the end of the world by any measure. The voltage readings seem to be spot on and I can go with these, but if anybody has dealt with this and has a solution, please comment below and let me know, as I would really like to sort it out if possible. So with this out of the way, let's get to flying. I did 2 flights with a Bolt X6S 1800 mAh lithium polymer pack. Just in case something went wrong, I would much rather risk that one than the DIY lithium-ion pack I made for the plane. Also, the lithium polymer pack being much lighter would cause less damage on its way out in the event of a crash than the twice heavier lithium-ion one. Outside of some variation in the throws on my part, both takeoffs were successful. The second throw was better, so the takeoff was better, and the flights went very well. I am still amazed how well this plane flies. You would think a plane this small might not have the right to fly this well, especially with ailerons as floppy as mine due to circumstance. and yet it does surprisingly well in the air. In manual mode, it is quite agile and you can easily do some aerobatics, and in fact, it does track very well while doing rolls without using the rudder to compensate in any direction, which is impressive. I did do some more stall testing both in fly-by-wire A mode and in manual mode, and I can only sing the plane's praises. In fly-by-wire A and pulling up on the elevator, it literally only parachutes down without a hint of tip stall, none whatsoever. This is crazy performance at this weight and wingspan. In full manual mode, it is pretty much the same situation, but since in manual mode it does require some aileron trim and some elevator trim or perhaps a slight CG adjustment, it does rock side to side a bit more and requires aileron correction, but at no point is it uncontrollable or tip stalling. It just parachutes down. Even though it was flying with a much lighter battery than the lithium-ion one would be, in order to balance it, I still had to put quite a lot of additional weight in the nose to achieve balance at the CG point, so overall the plane wasn't much lighter compared to where it would be at with the lithium-ion battery. So I had an idea how it would perform with the heavier battery as well. I really was thrilled with the Tornado's performance, so after landing it without any damage for a second time that day, it was time to get the lithium-ion battery in there and get that tested as well. Takeoff was good, although it did yaw a bit to the right after I threw it, though I guess I might have thrown it a bit wonky, but it took off nonetheless and looked stable. It definitely did feel a bit heavier with this battery in there, and I feel like it did require slightly higher throttle to maintain relatively level altitude for those flybys. I did 2 of those and then put it in loiter mode and let it fly for about 30 minutes and then land it. I capped the flight to 30 minutes based on how much the charger put back in the lithium polymer battery after the first 2 flights, given those flight times, so I estimated it should be able to fly for at least 30 minutes, hopefully at least twice that given how much more capacity the lithium-ion battery pack has, but since I had no way of monitoring the voltage and it sounded like it was giving it more throttle than it really needs, I decided to wait it out to 30 minutes, land and check the voltage. After the time had passed, I did land, again flawlessly. I absolutely love these TPU landing skids as they do soften the landing and raise the plane enough to allow plenty of clearance for the props, plus they are easily replaceable and you don't grind away the actual belly of the plane. So there you have it guys, outside of some electronics trouble, 3D printed planes do actually fly, and they can indeed fly so very good. Obviously, the autopilot could use some more PID tuning, and fixing the slop in the ailerons and elevator would go a long way towards getting it smoother, but I am thrilled. And yeah, I'm in the process of printing another Titan Dynamics model as well, a larger one, though a non-VTOL one. Plugging the battery in the charger after the flight revealed that it is sitting at 3.75 volts per cell, which means that perhaps around 50% of the battery has been used up, but also looking at the log, I can see it was windy up there and at ground level as well, which helped with those takeoffs. I hope they would be as trouble-free on a calm day as well. But still the plane was flying between 60 and 108 kilometers an hour, which feels kind of fast, and I do feel like I could perhaps dial that down a little bit. It does not need to be that quick all of the time, so I will have to play around with the cruise throttle values. This one does not have an airspeed sensor, nor will it get one, keeping those for the larger models, but I think I should be able to stretch out the flight time to over an hour even in the autonomous modes. But how much over an hour would remain to be seen. The next step would be to add a video system to this puppy so I would be able to fly it further, have telemetry and be able to actually see where it's going and keep an eye on the voltage. Would anyone care to guess which video system might be finding its way onto the Tornado V2? Leave a comment below, and in a following Tornado V2 video we will see if you got it right. And since my YouTube members and Patreon supporters already know the answer, one of the perks of being such, I would ask them not to ruin the guessing game for the rest of you. Titan Dynamics provide the files for the Tornado V2 free of charge. There is a link to the model in the video description below, but while you're down there, also consider using any of the affiliate links to do your shopping at no additional cost to you. It does help support this channel. Do subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Like the video if you like the video, comment and share it if you can. A huge thank you to all my YouTube members, Patreon supporters and anyone who has and still is supporting this channel in any way. Very little of this would be possible without you guys. Happy 3D printing and I will see you in the next one.